4 days ago, there was an American shot and killed in Cebu. And he was shot in the neck in a KTV bar. And he was shot by another American.
I swear, no matter where Americans go, they can never put down the violence for 1 second. I don't understand how you can be 70-something years old and 70-something years old and still willing to commit an act of violence on another man. What could have been so bad that you had to take another life in a foreign country at a KTV bar? A KTV bar is supposed to be a place where you sing and drink. That's a place where Filipinos like to just hang out, sing and drink. But now we got Americans bringing their violence in these places, and it's like you can't even be at a peaceful place and sing without, of course, the stereotypical American that's always got guns, shooting another American. Just imagine, oh my God, imagine you flew to a foreign country to enjoy your life, to retire in a foreign country, only to just die at the hands of another American. The very thing you escaped has came back and ended you. That is a nightmare.
And the American that shot him obviously had a gun. And not only one gun, but apparently it was later discovered that he had another gun as well. I think it was a rifle, an M1 or something like that. And obviously now the guy that shot the American, I think he's in his 70s, 72 or something like that. And now he's in custody. You'll never see the light of day, obviously, now. He's on like a murder rap now. But
we got 7-year-old dudes beefing. It has to be over a woman. We got 7-year-old dudes beefing. And what does the 7-year-old need with rifles anyway? Why do you need to have rifles in the Philippines? How do you even get a rifle and handgun as a retiree expat in the Philippines? We can't own guns. I don't understand. I thought only Filipino citizens can own guns.
All started, from what I can gather from the news, I've been watching the news, I was like flabbergasted by it. I was flabbergasted for a couple of reasons. One, another American shot another American here in the Philippines, and the other is a gun. He had a gun. And we all know that foreigners here, regardless of our visa type, we are not allowed to have any kind of firearm whatsoever. Now, I know there's a lot of people who, they've said to me before, safety first. Well, look, I haven't got no enemies and I don't want.
Bro, if you need a gun in the Philippines, then you don't need to be here. I'm sorry, but if you need a gun in the Philippines, you don't need to be anywhere near here. Like, what for? I mean, I can understand if you go to like those really sketchy areas where they have, conflicts going on, but that's between Filipinos and Filipinos. I don't think there's gangs of Filipinos with guns that are actively hunting expats, because most of the time when you're in these cities, you're fine.
Any guns or anything like that. I did have a firearms license when I was in the UK, but that was sporting rifles, and in the UK we're not allowed to have handguns. But I did have a firearms license for sporting purposes only. But why on earth would you want a firearm in a country where you're not allowed to have one for a start? And why would you want one? Why? But this grievance apparently had been going on for quite some time. And he went to the KTV bar and just shot him in the neck. Now, you've heard my videos in the past about I don't really mix with a lot of foreigners here. I don't, because
Me either, because they're all a lot of them are crazy. They all have mental issues and stuff. I remember one time I was walking in Makati, and there was this random bald dude just sitting like I was just walking, and this dude was sitting here just like mumbling around, just punching stuff, and then just like just crashing out and walking at the same time. I was like, what is wrong with this dude? Like, it didn't seem like he was drunk or on any type of drugs, but it was very uncomfortable, and I was speed walking. I was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And I'll say they've got some deep rooted issues. Like, I don't understand. It's so many like foreigners with the worst type of mental illnesses that are traveling here, and then when they travel here, they crash out and they do stuff like this. And the funny thing is, when he mentioned that the 7-year-old dudes had beef for a long time, and then he went in there like a freaking mafia mob boss, and then just off the dude in a KTV bar. Who in their right mind would just make up their old ass mind and say, I'm going to end your life? It's like you're already 2 steps away from the grave. You're in your 70s. You don't have much longer. But then guess what? I'm just like, it just makes no sense.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying it doesn't really suit me. Because in my experience of, mixing with the community of foreigners, there's always some kind of animosity at some point. And everyone doesn't see eye to eye when you're in a foreign community. I've seen it myself. I've been in it. When I first come to the Philippines, and I used to go to the Chinese cuisine, which was where a lot of Americans, like foreigners, all nationalities, they used to hang out. And after a few beers, there was always something that happened. Sometimes fighting happened. It did, people, really. So I kept away from that. And this is, I'm not saying that something like this was, a reason for, for people not to hang around in, in foreign communities with each other. But the thing is, if you separate yourself from it, then you are alleviating risk of this. But I think this is probably an isolated case, because I've never heard of another foreigner shooting another foreigner.
It's new to me, man, too. It's new to me. Here's the thing. So, being from America, and we already know everyone's violent, when it comes to alcohol, for some reason, these grown-ass dudes, they love to just start something. They love to fight. And I've been around so many violent people all throughout my life with mix of alcohol. And the fight is usually over something stupid like a woman, or over jealousy, or of some kind, a job, money. It's just something stupid, or they're just naturally just violent, and they're always fist fighting. And it starts with the bars. It's like a lot of times, like, I know the difference between going to like a small town bar and then like a city bar, because the bars that I used to go to growing up, it was family bars. Everyone was always so friendly, cool. Everyone kept it, especially in Montana. Everyone was cool. But now, actually, I mean, people were cool, but the fights that we had were more just being stupid. Because like guys would like fist fight, and then they would be friends afterwards, and then everyone would be cool. But the fights that happen in these other places, they're like, they want to kill each other. But we don't just fight because we hate each other. We just fight because it's just like, it's almost, I don't understand, because our culture in Montana, we like to do things like wrestle. And then the funny thing is instead of just doing it, we would just ask to be like, let's wrestle. You'd be like, want to wrestle, or you want to throw a few hands in a polite way, and then other guy agrees, we proceed. But it is very rare that people get in an argument and just start throwing fists. in other places, the fights just started just nowhere, and it's usually over something just like something stupid, dumb. It's not for fun. It's for just drama, and that is just one of the reasons why I stay away from Americans when they're drinking. I stay away from all foreigners when they're drinking. I will only drink with Filipinos. I will not be drinking with no foreigner. I will only drink with Filipinos, because when you drink with Filipinos, they're always fun, they're always laughing, they're always joking. And then they don't have a mean spirit. They don't have I have to fight everybody kind of thing. They're not aggressive. They're just funny, like not funny, but like they like to tell jokes all the time.
In the Philippines, and up until now, I'm not saying it hasn't happened in the past, but this is very important, people. It's, why did he have a firearm? Now, it's easy to get a firearm here. It's easy. Unlicensed, obviously, if you're a foreigner, it would be unlicensed. And I know it's easy to get if you know the right people, and you can get. I was offered it. I mean, I never saw the firearm, but I was offered when I was in Dipolog City living, and the guy that offered me it.
Offering guns. So this is more of a corruption issue in the country. Offering guns to foreigners. Oh my God. Well, that's your problem there. That's your source of your problem there. So you need to, speak up before more people get hurt. Okay.
And I think he said 15,000 pesos. I said, look, I'm not interested. I don't want one. And he said, safety first, Stephen. I said, look, I don't care about safety first. If I felt threatened for my life, then I would just not be here. I don't need a firearm for protection. I just don't. I don't want to be in that predicament. It's just a reminder to me why I don't hang around in those circles of foreigners. And I know this is it's a one-off case, I would imagine, but how many other foreigners here, it makes me think, how many other foreigners here have got illegal firearms? I know there's a lot of illegal firearms in England, where people have them. But here in the Philippines, having an illegal firearm and actually using the damn thing, I'm just a bit shocked, people. I am really. I'm a little bit shocked.
You should check the provinces, because nobody's checking anything in the provinces. Because that's where a lot of them are living. And the thing is not only just guns, but like knives too. Because I'm not sure if there's like a law against having knives. Because I know Japan is just like that too. You can't own knives that are certain inches long. But I would check a lot of the provinces, because that's also where certain individuals, foreigners, like to do creepy, illegal stuff in these places, and it's honestly disgusting. So it's not going to surprise me if they do that. Then, of course, when it comes to guns, it's like,
I don't know how old the guy was who was killed, but I think I read that the guy who shot the other American, I know both Americans, I think he was about 72, and now that's it, his life is ruined. 72 years old, yes, he's had a good innings, I know that, but I'm saying he won't see the light of day now.
bro,
It's just...
bro ain't finna see nothing. His retirement got cut off short and straight to the grave. I'm not laughing, like, I'm just saying the action that he did, it's stupid. But the thing is, he might just be super mentally ill, because there are a lot of Oh, obviously they don't do mental health checks before people travel abroad because people can appear normal, and then when they get here, then they blow up and they become just these monsters. But if this keeps happening, then security is gonna get tighter, or maybe not. Depends on the government, which I'm not gonna make a comment on that.
It's just me, when I just remind myself why I don't mix in them circles. What's good for me is not good for many of you, and obviously what's good for you is probably, or for many of you, is not good for me. It's just something that I don't like to do, and it's not so much as like a badge of honor that I wear when I don't mix, when I just mix with this local community here, or even in Dipolog when I go to the to Dipolog, I mix with the the anglers, because I'm a member of the angling club, and they have meetings and all that, which I do sometimes attend when I have the time, and I've never seen trouble between the group of friends that I kind of associate myself with. I've seen trouble between Filipinos quite often when they have one Tanduay too many, or one one red horse too many, and then they were best of friends 10 minutes ago, and then they want to fight the world.
It reminds me of the time when I was in Makati. There was this Filipino KTV bar, and I don't know if he was like the owner or the manager, but he was just managing the place, and he walked outside, and then for some reason some other Filipinos with like bike helmets were like bashing at him with the bike helmet, and the guy was like straight up throwing some hands, and then there was like a small scuffle, like fist fight, and then the police came, and then ended up arresting everybody. And so the manager was gone for a little bit, and the only people that were just there serving drinks and keeping everything going was just the waitress and the counter girl. But I mean, Filipinos do sometimes get into fights for some reason, but it's kind of rare. I mean, that was the first time I seen Filipinos get aggressive and fight. It was honestly like shock to me.
But that happens all over the world. It happens. I've seen that in England many times, between people. The dreaded drink. But it's just me, people. It's just me. And I just thought I would, because I haven't seen much about this, this case of American shooting an American here. And it just makes me wonder how many other foreigners have got illegal firearms here. How many have? And because bearing in mind in America, it's kind of it's in their constitution of bearing arms, and I just think it's just something that maybe Americans like to do, is not go around shooting people, obviously, but owning a firearm for safety. Now, what I'm thinking is, because the guy was married, I think, the guy who shot the other guy. Now, maybe the gun was registered to his wife. I don't know. I really don't know. There's not too much about it.
That's actually one of the ways to own a gun legally in the Philippines, is registered to your wife's name. Now, I've heard some talks of some expats being like, I'm going to get a gun and I'm going to register it in my wife's name. And it's like, oh, this might be a problem in the future. But the thing is, when Americans buy guns, it's not for protection against Filipinos or other things, animals. It's protection against other Americans with guns. There's such a mental thing going on with Americans where they think that no matter where they go, the whole world is theirs, and they should be able to have a gun anywhere they go, even though they have no discipline. Mental health is probably in the trash. And then another thing is they just don't want to just go without. So before I left America, I sold all my guns. I sold all my guns, and I don't regret it because I can't take them with me. There's no use for them. Like, I don't need them. I had them for protection because when I was in a hostile environment around hostile, terrible American people. But when I got out of that environment, out of that situation, I no longer needed them. I mean, of course, I still needed the guns because I lived in a hostile environment when it came to nature, because we have wolverines, bears, rattlesnakes, elk, deer, moose, and big cats like cougars, mountain lions, bobcats, and that's gonna be a painful ass death if you're sitting there trying to fight with a big cat with claws. Because if you deal with a small cat that's attacking you, imagine a big one. There's gonna be chunks of everything. And then there's been some instances where people have been offed by these big cats, but that's the only reason that I ever needed needed my guns. But other than that, since I was traveling abroad, I was like, I don't need this.
But maybe that was the case, and I know for a fact there is a couple of foreigners that I used to know. I don't know if they still live in here or not, but they got their wives to actually get a firearm, go through the illegal channels, and actually apply for a firearms ticket, like a license. But even that, I would never ever want a firearm in the house. I wouldn't here. I certainly wouldn't want any guns in the house, and I 110% wouldn't want my wife, or I wouldn't even ask her to go and go through the rigmarole of getting a firearm for safety reasons and all that, and have one in the house. I just wouldn't do it, people. It's just not me. And I've got no need. I haven't got no need. I don't know of any trouble around here that happens or that has happened in the past where I am here, because where I am, it's all families that have lived here for generations, and they are all friendly people. I've never known of any incident here where anyone has shot and killed somebody or stabbed somebody from this part where I am. There was an incident 2 or 3 years ago when there was, I think it was a row where, once a year there's like a party disco, and outsiders came in, and outsiders had an argument with other outsiders, and Filipino stabbed another Filipino, and he died. But as for outside of that, I don't know anything that's happened here. You hear of politicians arguing and fighting and all that kind of stuff quite often, but again, that's nothing to do with us. It's nothing to do with normal people, like civilians. It's normally to do with the hierarchy of politics. Let's just say that. But this American shooting this other American, I think that's a turn up for the books. That for me, and I think for a lot of you guys, if you have read it yourselves, or if you haven't read it, you're seeing this video, and maybe it might make you think as well.
Yeah, I will be thinking. I think there's something inherently evil and wrong about using your wife, the love of your life partner, as a tool to gain something that is dangerous and meant to harm other people. And it's just so messed up, especially Filipinas, to use Filipinas as a gateway to gain things. Like, I can understand if you want dual citizenship and you want things like that. I mean, that's fine. But to use your wife to gain the government's tool of mass destruction is messed up. And she had no idea. She probably has no idea or doesn't understand that she contributed to a person's death. And if she does realize that, or actually finds out, or if she already knows, I'm not sure, then it's going to be heavy on her conscience, because it's basically like she helped the outcome in some formal way. Not saying it's her fault, because she had no idea. She had no idea that her husband had some ill intent to use her for that thing, for that kind of stuff. And a lot of Filipinos, they don't think like that, because Filipinos don't live in a world where you're constantly thinking about harming people, because Americans live in a world where they'll fight with almost anybody at any time, just for any reason, and always hostile, always violent, always it's just messed up. So I really feel bad for the wife, but I don't feel bad for the guy. But I really wish that Filipinos would just kind of themselves vet the foreigners they decide to marry, because you never know if they could be someone that's going to use, abuse, or just overall exploit.
But that's it, people. I just thought I'll get this video out there, and tell me what you think in the comments. I am a bit shocked. I am. I didn't know the people. I don't live in Cebu, but it's just. Anyway, that's it, people. I've my chores.
All right, that's it. Oh, this is such a mess. We can't have anything. You know that saying that we can't have anything nice because of these terrible individuals? We can't have anything. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked the video, give a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.